All right. Well, it's good to see y'all. The time right now is 9:02 in the morning on July the 11th, 10th, July the 10th, excuse me, July the 10th. And we're here to take up your case about a revocation. First thing we have to make sure is that you are the right person, that you've signed the form and all that. So your name is Eddie Bell, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you tell us, do you have a form in front of you, or have you seen a form, a questionnaire that you agreed to this hearing and you knew what was going on? And
Yes,
all
sir.
of that? Okay, and so that's all we just needed him to do is agree to that. Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. I'm going to read to you exactly what the charges are or what the rule violations are that you're suspected of having violated. Then we're going to give you a chance to talk about it, to tell all of us what, because I'm the acting chairman today for Cheryl Renatza, but that's rotating when she's not here. So we're all equal, got equal votes. And I think Pete Freeman's going to be the actual lead investigator, so he'll ask some questions. So let me go over these rules first. Are you ready to hear the rules that you violated?
Yes, sir.
Okay, or that you're suspected of having violated? Okay, this is kind of lengthy, so I'll read them pretty quickly. If I'm going too fast, let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, rule 3, you do not live at the address listed on your certificate, which is 4017 Mervon Street. This is the address you were approved for on your sex offender residence plan. You immediately went to 3522 Dewberry, where children reside. You were instructed to move from 3522 and live at the approved residence. You stated you understood. The following morning, your parole officer went to the address where you were instructed to live, and you did not move there as instructed. Your parole officer spoke to your father, who confirmed this. You reported to the office the same day and were dishonest about where you were the previous night. You were not honest until the parole officer told you she went to the address where she instructed you to move and spoke with your father, who stated you were not allowed to live there any longer. It wasn't until you spoke with Supervisor Francis, who also stated you cannot live at 3522 Dewberry, that you gave a new address to where you would move to. Okay, that's rule 3. Another rule 3 violation is on 4/7/2024. You were in Dallas, Texas without permission. Another rule 4 violation, number 4, as far as the conduct, on 5/7/2024, you admitted to being drunk. On 5/6/2024, another violation 4, on 5/7/2024, you tested positive for THC. Rule 6, you failed to provide proof of employment or search for employment. Rule 8, you were contacted multiple times by the sex offender treatment provider before returning their call. On 4/25/2024, you were no call, no show for your admit appointment. There is an additional no call, no show date. You have not started sex offender treatment as instructed per the sex offender contract. Another rule 8, you did not report to the DRC on 4/5/2024 as instructed. Rule 13, special conditions, sex offender contract. You were instructed to move from 3522 Dewberry and instructed not to go back there. While being transported to Caddo Correctional Center, you admitted to going to 3522 Dewberry to cut the grass. This is a location you were instructed to not go to due to children living at the residence. Another Rule 13 violation, special conditions, sex offender contract. You have 2 social media accounts, which is prohibited per the sex offender contract. Another Rule 13 special condition violation, sex offender contract. On 5/5/2024, you were at Chuckee Cheese in Bossier City, Louisiana for a birthday party. This is a prohibited sex offender contact or per contract. Okay, that's a lengthy list of things. I think I've gone over them all. Okay, sir, now is your chance to talk instead of me. Can you explain these, or how do you plead to these? We've started.
We need to read each violation, and you plead guilty or not guilty.
Yes, okay.
And then you can provide us a statement, okay?
Right.
As
Yes.
to your side of the story.
Yes, sir.
Begin now.
No, I'll do it if you want. I'll take the lead because I
Okay.
got a question
Okay.
anyway.
Good.
Okay, I got a question on each thing, so I'm just gonna reread the violation.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm not gonna read all the narrative, you just tell me how you plead.
Yes, sir.
You did not live at the listed address on your certificate, which is 4017 Mervyn Street. This is the address you were approved for your sex offender residence plan. You immediately went to Dewberry where your children reside. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Okay, well, how do you say you're not guilty?
When I
Make a
was,
statement.
yes, I would like to make a statement. When I got released April 1st, I had got in touch with my parole. Well, I actually went to probation and parole office, and they assigned me Miss Anderson and his house. So the same day, I ended up going to the probation and parole officer, and Miss Anderson was my parole officer. So I explained to her what was going on and asked her, can she run the 3522 address Dewberry to see if it's approved address I can move to, which she approved the address. So that would make me go to that address to keep down the commotion from my dad's house. So uh I ended up staying over there. Then one morning, I can't remember the exact date, but Miss Winterton ended up coming over there to the address. She walked in, asked me what room I'm staying in, asked me how old was the victim. She said she was gonna look into the situation and see if I can stay at the approved address. That was on a Thursday. So Friday, I was expecting her to call. She never called, showed up. So over the weekend, she still ain't called or nothing. So Monday, she ended up giving me a call and saying that I couldn't stay at the ad. No, let me take that back. I ended up going to the probation and parole office, and she said I couldn't stay at the address or whatnot. So I ended up speak to the supervisor and explain to the supervisor what was going on or whatever. And the supervisor told me, no, I couldn't stay at the address because it was kids there. I was like, okay, all right. So she asked me with Miss Winter in the office, do I have another address? Can she approved. I'm like, yes. So I end up giving her my godmother address, which is 3522. 3435 Stonewall Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, which I gave y'all my wife's fax copies of the resident plan to the fax number they ended up giving me. She gave y'all the 35 address, 3522 Dewberry address, and the 3435 Stonewall address. So that's how they come about.
Okay, so, so you saying at first she said you could stay there and then she said you couldn't stay there?
Yes, see, I had Miss Anderson was my parole officer, which I never
Right.
seen. Then when I actually moved to the 3522 Dewberry address, Miss Winterton ended up coming over there and she would explain to me she was my parole officer. So
Okay.
they did a switch parole officer on me. And she said she was gonna look into it and see if I could be able to stay at this address.
Okay. Were you in Dallas without permission? How do you
No,
plead that charge?
not guilty.
You were never in Dallas.
No, sir. My wife, which is present right now, she ended up posting a picture on her Facebook page, and my baby mama, which is the one that I just did time behind 2.5 years, ended up going calling to the parole and probation officer, finding out who my parole officer is, and sending her all types of pictures saying, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, which is a problem with the situation that we having now. She trying to get me back in jail, which she done done. You know, I just did 2.5 years for this woman, and now that I came home and got married, she feels some type of way because I'm moving on with my life, and she doing whatever she got to do to keep me incarcerated.
Okay.
So she sending
All right.
pictures. Yeah,
So all they had was pictures showing you were in Dallas?
yeah. She just got a picture of me and my wife hugged up, and my wife she had our location at in Dallas or whatever, but we was actually in Shreveport at the Hilton Inn.
Okay, that's what we saw, pictures at the Hilton Inn, but they said it was in Dallas.
Right.
Okay, did you admit to being drunk on 5/7/24?
Yes, sir, I did. I had went out with my family, and I just had one drink. I ain't no alcoholic. I ain't no drinker, so I had one little drink, and it had me all, you know, messed up. So when Miss Anderson, I mean not Miss Anderson, Miss Winston came to my house, which is the 3435 address. She said that nobody answered the door, so she expected I wasn't there. But like I had told I was there, I was asleep in the back room, so and then we got dogs in the backyard. So usually my last time with me being out from being incarcerated, they usually walk around the house and knock on the room window, which I'll stay at. But we got dogs in the backyard. So I had told I was drunk that night.
Yep, you did. Okay, so you told her you drank.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you also tested positive for marijuana.
Yes, sir, I did. Like I said, I had just came home April 1st. So before I was drug in Claiborne Parish, and I just did that just to be doing because I'm finna come home and I say I'm done with drinking and smoking and stuff. So that I had explained that to the parole officer at probation and parole on Year Drive. I say I just came home, so I might test positive. Then again, I might not test positive. I say I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I just smoked it before I came home.
Uh, did you report to the DRC as instructed?
No, sir, I didn't. I had talked to a lady over the phone and I had explained to her I had just started working or whatever, and my work hour was from 8 o'clock to 5:30 in the evening. So I had explained to her what the hours or whatever and asked her, is it mandatory for me to do these classes? Because I ain't never known nothing about these classes. This is something new they just started with probation and parole. So I never knew nothing about the classes. So she said she was gonna get in touch with the probation officer and see if it was a mandatory thing for me to do because I just had started working and I ain't want to lose my job and I'm trying to get my life together.
Okay. Did you take any sex offender classes in prison? Did you take the 4 phases?
No, sir, I haven't.
What was your original charge?
I had a domestic charge.
Yeah, but why you were considered a sex offender? What was the sex
Common knowledge of a juvenile,
back when? When did that happen?
2011.
2011. How long you served on that? How long you was on probation?
I had did 4 years flat on that.
4 years flat on
Yes, sir.
formal. Okay. How old was the victim?
She was 16.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Also, your special condition number 13, you were instructed to move from Dewberry, and instructed not to go back over there. Did you leave once they told you had to leave?
Yes, sir, I did. And she never told me I couldn't go back over there. Just said that I couldn't stay at the address. So when my wife was out of town with the kids, she said she needed the yard cut and she paid this Mexican guy with $100, I want to say, to cut the yard. So I'm like, I'm home, so why should you have to pay $100 to get somebody to cut the yard? So I just went on and cut the yard for her.
Okay. And what about the 2 social media accounts? Did you have those?
Those are old account. I have no access to those account, which is the password and stuff. So, I mean, if you can pull them up now. I probably got like 3, 4 accounts, 5, 6 accounts, but this all before I even had this sex offender charge. So I have no more access to that account.
What was the account? What were the account?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes, sir.
And you haven't been on Facebook since you've been out?
No, sir.
Okay, what about being seen at Chuck E. Cheese at your child's birthday party?
Yeah, my twins, they had just turned 5, and my wife had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. So I ain't seen my children, and I mean, I did go. I did go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And okay, so that's all the violations, and you've had your plea. Where would you stay at if you got out today?
3435 Stonewall Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71109.
Has that been approved?
Yes, sir, it have.
Has been approved.
Yes, sir. I had like I said, my wife faxed over the resident form to the fax number they gave me on a piece of paper.
All right, I have no further questions. Was any of my
Yeah, where do you plan to work when you, if you get out?
At Riverside Oaks apartment where I was working there before I got incarcerated. I also held she said I ain't never something about the apply the paper for the job I was working, but I actually got check stubs. She also faxed that over to y'all too. My wife from Riverside Oaks apartment is through a temp agency, staff marketing.
So they'll give you your job back if you were released?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. What street is the Hilton in Shreveport on?
On what that is, 70th Street and Yearby Drive.
Okay, I don't know if that's a Hilton out there.
That's right there by the bank, Barksdale Bank.
But that's where that picture was taken.
Yes.
And you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to move for an executive session.
I second.
Okay. I'll
Will you call the
also
roll?
go.
Steve Furman,
Yes.
Chuck Tibbs,
Yes.
Steve Furman.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna have a brief executive session, which means we got something, a procedural matter we need to talk about. We will come back. We're not gonna vote there. We'll come back in just a minute. Won't take long. We'll come back and we'll vote. Oh, but we got to hear from your wife first. But do you want the executive?
Let's let his wife speak before we have the executive session.
Okay, let's let your wife speak first. Where is she on Zoom? Okay. Okay, the April Macon.
Yes, sir. How you today?
Okay, good morning. How are you? And we can hear you, and I guess you can hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us what you'd like to tell us.
Me and Ed had been together for a while. Yes, he did go to jail. Last time he go to jail, to my knowledge, it was due to the domestic with his ex. Since the day he has got out of jail, I didn't know anything about the girl and everything, but she's been stalking, and she has been stalking me as well. It's been an ongoing thing. And then when the parole officer came to the home, she did ask to come in. I said, yes, ma'am, you're welcome to come in. She looked around and she did inform us, because he was getting ready for work and the kids was getting ready for school. She was like, well, he can't stay here because his kids here. And we asked her, what should we do in this situation? Because we are married and he's been doing good while he's at home. She said, you guys can go to court and file a motion with a judge to see what the judge let him stay in the home. So we did that. He used his paycheck and I paid half. We went to court. So when we went to court, it was kind of humiliating because the parole officer went back on everything she informed us to do. I have no knowledge of this type of stuff, basically. So I'm the type of person, I just like to follow the law, do what's right, and encourage Eddie, to do what's right, because he was working. Anytime, like when we was together, he always found the job. He found the job in within a week. I'm a witness to that. I was with him. We went to Aid Advantage, which they are linked with staff marketing. So he found the job. That first they sent him to a furniture store, and then they sent him to the apartments at River Oaks. And as he stated, that was correct. He was working 8 to 5. I was in the vehicle with him when the counselor called, and he did tell the counselor, let me talk to the parole officer about meeting with you guys due to my work schedule. So that was definitely correct. I had to file a restraining order on his ex, and a parole office, the supervisor stated that she's allowed to call and say all these fraudulent things. due to the fact that he does have a record. Um, since it's been ongoing, she's threatened me. I had to get a restraining order on her. So basically, I feel like at the moment he is homeless. Um, I feel like 3522 Dewberry is the only place he really has to stay due to the conflict of the other two addresses, from my
Yeah.
opinion. And
Okay.
it just
Max, how old are the kids that are in your home?
I have 5-year-old twins. I have an 18-year-old and one 14-year-old. He has been in their life through the years. It's just this ongoing thing with this girl. She
Okay.
tried to threaten anyone around him and try to fight him. Like whenever she found where he's located, she will drive up because she have followed me without me having knowledge and tried to fight me as well. So
Okay.
it's been an ongoing thing with the situation, to be honest. And I can admit he has been doing right, trying to live his life right and everything.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Um,
Comment.
I feel like this the only dress he has to stay at. But to my
Right.
knowledge, they
Stand.
said once he get off parole, it won't matter. But he
The
gonna work.
judge, whoever told y'all to go to the court has no jurisdiction over whether who can live in your home because you're on parole.
All right.
It's no longer in the courts, because it's the parole board that would have to relieve him of that condition.
Yeah, it's
I-
just that she's not allowed to go here now. Due to the restraining order and everything that I placed on her. But I feel like this is the only place he really has to stay because the dad said he don't want him there.
Right.
Um, yeah, yes, sir. It's just the conflict of him staying at those other addresses.
Okay, that's all we need. We appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bell, we're fixing to go into executive.
I'm trying to get that probation.
Okay, we're back. We got to vote to get out of executive session, so let's have a vote on that, please.
We did a roll call. Pete Freeman,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Tibbs.
Yes.
Okay, we're back out of executive session and we're in Baton Rouge. You're talking to you at Caddo Correctional. Okay, Pete, Mr.
Okay.
Freeman, you were talking about something.
Okay, I'm gonna vote first, Mr. Bell, since I was assigned your case. Mr. Bell, you admitted to the marijuana, which could have been in prison before you got out. You admitted to drink. Big problem is where are you gonna stay?
34, 35.
I don't know if that would be approved. We'd have to get that approved first by the probation office.
Yeah, they already approved. She got the paperwork. If y'all got the facts, she got the paperwork. She faxed to y'all. Is that it already been approved with probation and parole?
Okay. Do you understand you cannot be at that house with those kids?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
100%. Because if you come back in front of me with those kids, I'm gonna revoke them.
Yes, sir, I do.
Can't actually prove you in Dallas. It would be tough to prove anyway.
Yes, sir.
So you're getting a big break today. So what my vote is gonna be is not to revoke you, but you not get turned loose until the residence plan is approved by probation and parole, and they have you set up for your first sex offender class.
Yes, sir.
And you do understand your rules now. Go back to your probation officer, understand them clearly.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, probably be the last break you would ever get on this charge, okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's my vote today, not to revoke, but to hold in jail until we get an approved residence plan and we have you set up for your first sex offender treatment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
My vote is not to revoke.
Okay, and my vote also is the same, so that you understand some of the rules may not make sense to you because you may be thinking, I didn't mess with a little child, so I can go to my house. But that ain't the way it is.
Yeah.
What your problem has been thus far is following the rules to the letter of the law. What you need to do is call your wife on the phone every time you got a decision to make and say, should I do this or not? Because she's the kind of lady that follows the rules,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
And that's what you gotta be like. Even though it don't make sense that you can't go to Dewberry, you can't go there because that's what the rules say, okay? You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, well, it's the decision of the board today that you not be revoked, but the conditions that Mr. Freeman talked about are to apply to you. Get everything straight, get out, and we don't want to see you again, okay?
Yes, sir, I promise you, you won't see it better.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
That completes this from Caddo Correctional. 9:32 is the time, and thank you all up at Caddo Correctional, and hope you have a wonderful day up there.
You too.